Welcome everybody to another episode of the Safeties Off Show. Today we have Hunter Johnson on. If you don't know who Hunter is, you need to check him out on his YouTube, Hunter Johnson, and then on his Instagram, HunterJ_10. Awesome guy, awesome interview. But before we get to that, let's get to our sponsors. First up, we have Dirty Duck Coffee. Years ago, a passion and legacy was created over common obsession for the wild pursuit of waterfowl. This evolved into a coffee and apparel brand called Dirty Duck. I have actually replaced my coffee that I've been drinking for years now with Dirty Duck, and it's honestly one of the easiest ad reads of all time because the coffee is awesome. Gear's great too. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the hat at the end of the table. Check them out. Use promo code KCO15 for 15% off your entire purchase. Next up, we got Dino Climbing. You can use code KCO15 at Dino Climbing when you purchase their pre-workout. Now, it says it's a pre-workout for climbers, but what I find is that it helps me in the mid-afternoon slump, like in between teaching and then coaching. Get a little bit of that Bigfoot berry, get fired up, get ready to go. It's pretty dang good, pretty tasty. Go check them out. Use promo code KCO15. Our next sponsor, Trip Tech. We followed these guys forever. This tool is a 5-in-1 hunting multi-tool. It works as a punch. You can use it to unscrew your choke tubes. Upland hunters can even use it to distinguish between mature or juvenile birds. It's awesome. It's a great tool. It's a must-have on your waterfowl or upland bird hunting lanyard, on your lanyard, on your backpack. Got to have it. Everyone needs one. Go check them out at Trip Tech. So let's get to the episode. Thanks again to our sponsors. You guys are really going to enjoy this episode. So without further ado, Hunter Johnson.
Bro, I almost caught that one.
You got that heater on full blast. You got all the windows down, and you're just you're such a
Hunter Johnson, everybody, on the Safeties Off Show. We appreciate him coming on. Hunter, if you don't mind, if people don't know you, could you give a brief synopsis of who you are and your hunting background?
Yeah, absolutely. So my name again, Hunter Johnson. I grew up hunting. That's a lot of all we knew. Was just growing up in the woods, and my dad, he's a pastor, and but with that being said, man, we traveled and we hunted all the time. That was one of those things that was just super influential in my childhood growing up. And so with that, my dad kind of had a passion for the hunting industry and wanted to film his hunts. And so it was one of those things that he kind of started a journey. And I really didn't get interested in it till I had graduated high school. So I graduated high school and then got real interested. He had a channel called Hunt Real Outdoors, and so I kind of jumped in with him and tried to film some of my hunts. And man, it just caught my attention. And I just loved it. I couldn't get enough of it, and so I started trying to film everything I could. And man, like I said, I loved it, and it ate me up. And so I just began watching videos on videos, trying to learn everything I could. And not just video, but also photography was one of the big things that I loved. And so I actually was just working a little job here in town, and one day got a message on Instagram from Jordan Summit over at Duck Commander. And he was like, "Hey man, have you ever thought about filming duck hunts?" And at the time, I wasn't a huge duck hunter. Most of what I had done was deer hunting. But I was like, filming hunts? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, sounds like the dream.
Yeah, that's what I've been waiting on.
Yeah.
And so one thing led to another. And, man, I got to work at Duck Commander and do all the videography and photography for them for 2 years. And then pretty cool circumstances. But I got to leave there on great terms, actually taking a job here at the church where my daddy is doing the youth. And I get to do that now and still kind of travel and do some hunting stuff. But also now I get to work with Justin Martin kind of on our own deal with his channel, and now starting my channel. So it's been a journey. It's been crazy, but it's been an absolute blast.
Well, it seems like you're living the dream, man. You got a little steady income on the side, and then you're still getting to get your fix in as your hobby. I mean, that's what we all dream about doing.
Absolutely.
Like you want to hunt. I, like you, thought it was so cool. I just liked filming things as a kid, like doing
Right.
like skits and putting it on MySpace or whatever it was, you know.
Right.
And then that kind of transitioned into, wouldn't it be cool if we could film our hunts?
Yeah.
Which you may be younger than me, but I loved TK and Mike growing up. You know TK and Mike?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
So, like, that's kind of who the Duck Dynasty guys remind me of. No offense to those guys.
No, absolutely. I understand.
I mean, they kind of put on a little bit, like Cy and Phil, and, like, you know, they kind of act a fool. And then you got your more serious guys, you know, like Willie or whatever. That's kind of like the Mike guy was. He was more serious at times, but that's what got me going too.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Let me ask you this, and because I want to talk more about you, but we obviously got to touch on the Duck Dynasty stuff. I mean, you can't throw in Duck Dynasty and the hunting community glass over it. I taught and coached at a school in Ruston, and we played the school where, I'm trying not to out anybody here. We played we played the school where all the Robertson family went to school.
Right.
And so all the moms were there, and like for us, like, yeah, that's cool. It's cool the first time, you know, but then like for the kids, like, oh my gosh, oh look. But that being said, they seem like the nicest people of all time.
Man, they really are. They
okay,
really
so
are.
that's what I was going to ask. Is that the truth? Like,
no, that's the truth, man. I tell you, that's probably the question I get asked more than anything. You know, what are they really like when the cameras are off, when nothing's going on, they're just hanging out. And I will tell you this, they are exactly who they say they are. As far as the things they believe, the way they walk, the way they live, man, they are true to who they say they are. And they are an absolute blast to be around, and crazy as ever. But man, it sure is fun to be with those guys.
I mean, they seem like just incredible people. I listen to a little bit, man, to be honest, I listen to podcasts, but mostly how I get my content, sadly enough, as a 30-year-old guy, is Instagram Reels.
I understand.
I'm just looking for ideas like, oh, no, that one sucks. No, I'll use, bookmark, use that one, keep going. But I listened to Phil Robertson say something one time about how on an Instagram Reel, and I should go back and give the podcast a listen. But he talked about how they would bleep out cuss words, quote unquote cuss words. If you're listening and not watching on YouTube, doing the air quotes. Right. Did they ever like say anything about that? Like, did they have a negative taste in their mouth after the show, or do you know?
You meaning like from the show?
Yeah.
I don't know that they necessarily had a negative taste from it. I think that, talking with Phil a little bit about that show and what it did, I think his main focus was that it shared the gospel with millions of people. And that's his biggest focus, and his biggest thing with it is that if it did that, he was on board with it.
Yeah, amen. Heard that. Yeah, and I mean, I think it definitely does. You know, trying to talk about hunting, but I'm not going to not share the gospel and talk about Jesus here. You know, like it shows the love for everybody for sure. Yeah. You know, and that you can have fun in the outdoors and whatnot in God's creation. I 100% will say that. I enjoyed every single episode. Kind of shifting gears here back to you. Did you like the shifting gears thing I did with my hands right there?
I like that. I like that. Yeah, that's nice.
I talk with my hands a lot.
Me too. I get it honest, man. Dude, we had a running joke. You go to the Mexican restaurant, you're always asking for queso. Gotta have a bowl.
Yeah. Bowl or cup. Yeah, you're like, I do it all the time. I'm like talking to kids. I'm like pointing and like making all these weird signals that mean nothing. So anyways, you just started your own YouTube channel, and when I saw the first video, I was like, oh, this is going to be cool. Like, he's going to teach us basically how to be an outdoor content creator, but how to film and edit and stuff like that. So like, first off, you showed basically why not to stand right by something when you're taking a picture of it.
Right.
In my brief dumb brain synopsis.
Yeah.
That's not a jab at your video.
No, you're good.
And then the one I just watched for a little bit this afternoon was about editing the sound. And the first one I cannot think of. What was that one about?
The first one was just talking about getting different angles and getting a wide, a medium, and a tight of everything you do to kind of give you options.
Yes. So is that stuff that you picked up freelance, or is that stuff you picked up in a class, or did you pay $39.99 for, the course online?
Man, no, I pretty much learned everything off of watching videos, YouTube, and now of course I have to give tons of credit to Jordan Summit there at Duck Commander. He taught me a ton, but the majority of the things that I've learned have been, just basically watching channels, kind of like what I'm trying to create. Just teaching the fundamentals. It was one of those things where I can remember when I was trying to learn. There were tons of people teaching video and what to do and how to do, but nobody in the hunting space.
I agree.
It was really one of those things that was like, if you're trying to, shoot movie scenes and documentaries and things like that, there's tons of content for that on how to do that. But once you get into the hunting scene, it's really not a whole lot there. There's more now than there ever has been. But there really wasn't just anybody that was like, hey, we're in the middle of the hunting industry and this is how we're filming stuff.
Right.
So I wanted to kind of try to bring that in and help, start at a basic level, what I would have liked to have seen when I first started and work up from there.
No, 100%. Thank you, first off, from doing it from a basic level. I can't stress, and if you're watching this on YouTube, you can figure out the expertise that Hunter has versus me just off of his resolution and mine. Mine's off a Logitech HD camera, and he's clearly got something way nicer hooked up.
It's the lighting, man. It's the lighting.
Dude, the lights are nice. I'm on a table that like wiggles. If you look at this, like I'm gonna knock over my monitor. This is tough. But anyways, like you're very good at it, and you obviously have a calling and a gift there. And I've enjoyed it. Like just off the 3 videos, I've learned something every single time. I'll go back and watch the one you just posted about voice and stuff in a second. But you use Adobe. Oh my gosh, what's the video?
I use Premiere Pro.
Thank
Adobe
you.
Premiere Pro.
Premiere Pro. I am not. I can't do that. I had it for like a second. Like one of my buddies had it, and I looked at it, and then I figured out the avatar was made on Premiere Pro. And I was like, bro, I'm not making Avatar. Like I just need some subtitles and like a header, and then we're just rolling out that. Like that's it.
I understand that. It's not as much of a John as you think it is once you get into it, but it definitely is a learning curve.
Well, maybe do a video about that for me. Like I need a little class. Like, hey, here's literally how to import, put a title, export. Like that might be an Instagram reel for you, and just send that over to me. You don't have to even publish that one.
Just send it right to you,
dude. Yeah, but I mean, it is tough. Is it not overwhelming?
Oh yeah, it can be, especially when you start. And that's a little bit in that video I talk about. When I first started, I was borrowing a friend of mine's Mac.
Yeah,
and
you're doing iMovie.
Yeah. So it was one of those things where, man, I knew nothing. I was just like trying to figure out how to go from one video to the next.
Yeah.
And so it's definitely been a process, but it's a good process. It's a good journey.
Yeah. And like I'm like you though, man. I get on YouTube and I learn everything from YouTube. Like I nerd out over YouTube, and I can just hit play and I'll let it play in the background, and I'll pick up on 1 or 2 things. And because like what you're saying, kind of to go back to you saying there's a lot of outdoor content creators, but not a lot of people creating how to be an outdoor content creator. Right. And what's wild is that's the world we live in, where you will be successful. Like your content is quality, and if you don't follow it, go right now. What's the name of the actual YouTube?
It's just Hunter Johnson.
Hunter Johnson.
Personal YouTube. Yep.
Heck yeah. You need to follow that. If you have any type of interest in the outdoor social media game, like wish Hunter would have been around when we started Kepler Creek, and we could have not made so many bad mistakes. Like,
oh man, I did it too.
Oh, it's quite miserable, dude. We've done it all. We've done every bad mistake. I think the only one we haven't done is paid for Instagram followers, but we've been real close. We thought that.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
No, don't. Just all those guys at home, if you think that's worth it,
don't do it.
Yeah, because when the first company says, hey, could you send us over your screenshot or your analytics? And it's like you and your mom and your grandma that only watches your stuff.
Yeah, you're in trouble. You're in trouble.
Yeah. Crap, man, I forgot where I was even going with that. But so, there is a niche there. Another popular word on YouTube. There is a niche there to create content and whatnot. And there's not a lot of good people that are just like, hey, this is how you do this. This is how you don't. because a lot of people think that it's just as simple as going to Best Buy and buying a GoPro, which you can do that and produce quality content with. People love that crap. Look at the hunting public. A lot of their things are done on GoPros. Justin Martin, his whole last video thing was on a GoPro.
Yep.
And it's fantastic. And then guys that watch a lot of it can see that, but your normal, average Joe that just wants to ingest content, give me hunting content in my veins.
Yeah.
They're not really worried about it.
Yeah.
But what you do is you use these, incredible cameras, and you are showing people, correct me if I'm wrong, like how to make jury outdoors videos, on your couch.
Yeah, that's the hope. But I definitely think it's one of those things where you do look and, anybody can and anybody should get out and start creating.
Yeah.
But there should never be you should always want to be better. And so that's my hope is to try to help the guy that was kind of like myself who wanted to be better. He just wanted to learn everything he could, and take whatever it was he could, GoPro, cell phone, or $10,000 camera, whatever it is, take it. Let's go be better. And let's go show what is going on in the hunting world, and that it's good and that people are enjoying it. So that's kind of my goal.
My horror story with the GoPro. So I use my phone a lot now because it will shoot in 4K, and it took me a while to figure out all you have to do is hit HD on your camera, and it'll then flip to 4K.
Yeah.
Very small brain up here.
We've come a long way with the phone camera.
Dude, it's wild. You could, you could make Avatar on it. I feel like it is nuts. So a lot of our things that we film, B-roll footage especially, is just kind of pan across and we're done. And I'll airdrop that to my MacBook. That took 2 seconds.
Yeah.
But like what you're saying, like you want to get like actual nice shots of things.
Yeah.
You're gonna need a mirrorless or DSLR, or something like that.
Right. Which I'm not against any of that, GoPro, phone, or any of that. But there is a lot that you can do with that and get better at. I'm definitely not against the guy that just has a GoPro. But like let's learn how we can make that better. Let's take the GoPro and make it. There's only so much equipment can do for you. If you go buy a $10,000 camera tomorrow, I hate to tell you, but your content's going to be no better than when you had a phone if you don't actually know how to use the camera and how to, actually film and tell a story. So, let's learn that stuff.
Well, then my end of it is like your content's still just as good if you're not seeing any deer. Right. Just because you got the DSLR doesn't mean when you like go into focus on a squirrel and out of focus on the pine tree or whatever, like, no, still nobody cares. Like my views don't go up.
Yeah, like, AKA all of Louisiana hunting.
Dude. Yes, but no, my horror story about the GoPro is that last year I had for me, a pretty good buck on this little like 160 acres that I hunt. I knew where it was coming, yada, yada, yada. One afternoon, I was in a hurry. I was like, I grabbed my bow, got my GoPro. And I was like, if he comes out way, super far away down this little road, I'll just get my phone out and film till he gets close. Then I'll drop it in my pocket and I'll shoot the GoPro with the actual shot. And he comes out about 75 yards down the road, and he comes out and I go to reach for my phone. He just looks dead at me. And I'm like, and I'm like not wearing my GoPro remote that I have like for this moment, and anyways, it would have been the coolest footage of all time. He's like stomping the ground, looking at me, looking around. Little buck walks around. He's like challenging this little buck. Little buck has no idea what's going on. It would have just been the coolest footage to show why to bring a rifle with you bow hunting. But instead, I've just got a cool story to share on a podcast.
Yeah,
not even that cool of a story because
typical Louisiana deer. Somehow it stepped out of the woods and knew exactly where you were.
100%.
I still don't understand it.
They're built different, as LeBron would say. So
they're different.
You're from Bastrop, Louisiana. You talk about Louisiana deer and whatnot. Is that really a thing?
Louisiana deer?
Louisiana deer just wild because like you see the hunting public. Well, last week we just had their intern on the show. No big deal, Nick, super nice guy.
Yeah.
We just had him on and we were talking about with him how you can just roll down the road and glassing deer. Oh, look at that 8-point. Oh, put it on my little HuntWise app. Like, oh, look at that 12-point. I'll probably kill him tomorrow. Like, what happens?
I'm not saying that never happens, but it very ever happens
Yeah,
around
exactly.
here.
And it probably happens better around your. I mean, like we're sportsman's paradise, our state, and I love my state.
Right.
Although days like today when I'm out coaching and it's blazing hot, I literally text my other buddies and was like, "Why do we live here? Like it's stupid hot." But man, and I can kind of say this too. I feel like because my uncle's the captain game warden of Northwest Louisiana, I feel like sometimes our biologists and whatnot, this is terrible, but maybe don't put the work in like other places.
Yeah, I don't know on that, but I know that for sure it is. We are considered sportsman's paradise, but I feel like that's more on the opportunity scale. You have the opportunity to have more wildlife. You can kill ducks, you can catch fish, you can
kill an alligator,
turkeys, gators, deer, whatever. The opportunity is there. Now whether it presents itself is a whole different story.
100%. Yeah, you can literally kill, like you're about to get bears back. Probably in our lifetime, be able to kill a bear. I would think. I don't know.
I hope.
Guessing. You know what? No, I just put that stamp of approval. Tyler Warren said by the end of his lifetime, he will kill a bear in Louisiana. Dude, that'd be so sick. But no, I 100% agree. Like I figured that out a long time ago. As a kid, though, I would be like, "Oh, sportsman paradise. We live in the best state ever. Everywhere else sucks at hunting. Like everybody wants to come here and hunt and fish." And then as I grow older, I'm like, it's kind of like the average. It's like Louisiana is the average sportsman's paradise.
Yeah. Well, and I got to take a trip last year and the year before out to Wyoming to 7J and hunt with some of my idols, and got to film Jacob Wheeler and then Godwin last year.
Yeah.
But you can see forever, and so you see tons of deer.
Right.
You can see forever. Whereas then you come back here and it's like pine trees everywhere. It's like there's no telling if you could see, a mile through those pine trees how many deer you would see. So but it's so easy for them to hide. Yeah,
you can see bucks that are laid up, like bedded up. Like, hey, look at that deer. Let's go. Wind's blowing this way. Let's get here. Like it's it's basically like you're coaching, like you're playing games, like you're trying to figure stuff out and get a game plan together.
Mm-hmm.
And here you just go sit in a tree and you pray to God that today's the day. Like, God, may your will be done. If he walks out, I'm going to throw an arrow at it or I'm going to throw a bullet at it. And like, that's frustrating, but I mean, I wouldn't have it any other way because it makes those other opportunities so cool.
Oh yeah.
Like I've had a hand in killing an alligator all the way from killing a whitetail, all these different things, ducks and this and that. And I do love my state, but dang, would I like to just be able to glass and drive around that with Like how cool.
Can we just drive by a bean field and see like 20 bucks out there just hanging out?
And not see another hunter and not see anybody else? Be like, yeah, that's Joe Blow. We see him every time we come hunt ducks out here.
Yeah. And he's mad because there's 7 dudes that have been poaching out there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, like when I think of public land hunting and how tough it is, I think of Wham Break.
Yeah.
Or Russell Sage over there. And I've hunted both and had a lot of success in both in duck hunting. But dude, we worked, and I wasn't even the hardest worker. Like, I tell a horror story about if you ever find a Beretta A300, it's mine. It's in Russell Sage. I dropped it.
Oh man.
I don't know where it's at because we were taking breaks because we were walking so far through the water to get to this hole on our map. And but anyway, so I just think of the competition there. And when you watch the hunting public, you don't ever see those guys revving up their motors, and and their four-wheelers at 4 a.m. to get on the WMA.
Yeah.
It's just a peaceful little, we're just going to walk around. And they're never like stalking a deer and like, oh man, there's somebody over there. That very rarely happens, I feel like.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I know they don't post everything, but.
Right. I'm with you. It is definitely tough around here. And it's, I know like with those guys, one of their big things is just to get away from people.
Yeah.
Man, that's so hard here because there are people everywhere.
Yeah.
And there's only so much land, and as far as the terrain, I mean, for the majority of it's just flat.
Yeah.
So somebody's got access somewhere to get everywhere. So it's definitely one of those things where it's hard to get away from people.
It's flat and thick.
Yeah.
Thick.
Yeah.
Very thick. Thicket up there a whole lot. Like when we went and we hunted Kansas for ducks, and you go across these oh my gosh, like WHA type areas. Where people put up their hunting land to hunt for the public, they get a tax break or something, I think.
Yeah,
and it's just boom field,
Mm-hmm.
It's not a thicket of any sort. And like, it kind of rolls and whatnot, but you can see forever. It doesn't happen here.
Yeah.
So, we talked about Louisiana deer hunting, and you are creating content for the outdoor content creator.
Right.
Me, I'm trying my best to film hunts, and I'm going to talk about it probably on another podcast about what we had to do this weekend. Long story short, we had a very unsuccessful hog hunting trip. I got some hogs that will not stop coming to my corn, and this guy was like, let's put out a trap. I was like, no, let me get some practice on one, yada, yada, yada. So what's your advice to guys like me that, I don't know what to post after that?
Yeah. Man, it's definitely tough. Because we kind of struggled that when I was, helping Dad do the whole hunt reel thing. Is like, right. We may see one deer for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And it's not because we're not hunting hard or we're not in good spots, but it's just like you said, it's so thick, and I think that goes back to golly, I'm not great in that aspect either. I'm still trying to figure that out. What do we do? Right. But my best guess and advice is just to be you, to grow in your as far as your talent with storytelling, and be you. Make it to where they want to see what you're doing, because nobody's watching us here in the South because we have big deer. And they're just watching to see what we kill or whatever. The reason they're going to watch is because they're invested in us, and we brought something to the table to them, whether that's teaching or entertainment or whatever it is. We have to be on that side of the spectrum, because it's not going to be, hey, come watch this guy in Louisiana kill giants. It's just not. The amount of people that do that are, few and far between here in Louisiana.
Yeah, so that's what I tell the guys that are kind of creating stuff with us. Is like, be you, and then two, like, let's not act like we know it all.
No, for sure.
There's already guys that do that, like the Michael Waddell's and the Duck Dynasty guys. Like they've got generations on generations on generations of success.
Right.
And granted, I have generations of hunting, but it's like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like my grandpa knows a ton.
Yeah.
But he may not have experienced the amount of success that other certain people have done, and
right.
and this and that. So just embrace being the most average hunter of all time. There's that's it. There's a channel that we're gonna have on eventually called the Okayest Hunter. Yeah. And I love everything they talk about.
Yeah.
Dude, amen. Preach.
Yeah.
Like, this is it.
Well, it's one of those things too, where like, man, if you come on super strong of like, hey, I know everything, and y'all just come and listen to me, and then you kill two deer a year.
Right.
One of them's a doe, and one of them's a 105-inch buck that barely come out for you to get footage. People are writing you off.
Correct.
This guy, he don't know what he's talking about. So it's one of them things where it's like, hey, I'm not saying that you don't have knowledge, because it is hunting different here, and no, you may not kill but 2 deer, and that's fine, but understand that's who you are and that's where you're at. Don't try to come off like you have this, mega piece of land in Kansas, and you're going to kill, 160 this year, and then go over to Missouri and you have another piece where you're going to kill 2, upper 150s. Like, just don't act that way. Just be real, be yourself,
be average.
Be average. There you go.
So maybe I will just keep filming with the GoPro and the iPhone.
Yeah.
Because that's it. So my buddy that when we went hunting on this past weekend, tried to kill that hog, he brought a Canon. It was a mirrorless Canon, and it was like the most budget friendly one.
The R6.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, great camera.
He had a fat lens on it. It was super fancy, and this is how average we are. Screw it, I'll just say it. Every week I have a segment on here called the Leaky Waiters of the Week. So something really sucked from the past week. So I'm just going to share mine right now, since I'm the only one on this podcast tonight. Jacob's not here, so I'm going to tell Hunter, and he gets to make fun of me. So we go, there's 2 things really. We go hog hunting, and I see on my phone, I have a Bushnell camera, cell camera. It's a great camera, that they're coming there at 10 a.m. every day. And then I check HuntWise. HuntWise is like 12. And I'm like, okay, perfect. I'm going to get there at like 9:15, 9. We'll stay till lunch, 12:30. Well, that turned into me telling Jacob, like, hey, dude, get to my house at 9:15, which turned into him getting here at 9:30, and us pulling up the lease at 10.
Yep.
10:06, I'm opening up the gate. I get back in my truck and check my phone.
They're there.
4 hogs at the corn pile, just hanging out. Me to just smoke them. And that's the first part of the Leaky Waiter. We got there. We sat for an hour, sweat for it. It was just disgusting. Didn't see any hogs. And then we get back to the house. Well, he had brought this very expensive camera that he had access to. Again, borrowed it, just kind of what you talked about with borrowing the MacBook. And I get home and I rip all the video. I was like, dude, there's going to be so much good video though, because it's funny. Like, you were going to be sweating and, we're walking to the stand. You got some cool little shots. And he has this $2,000 camera and a $50 mic he got off Amazon from China. Yeah. And on I'm not joking. It's like the microphone knew what was going to be a good shot and what was going to be cool in position. Every single one, it's got a tick, 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 tick.
Oh no.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's trash. I'm not going to sit there and like edit out every tick.
Yeah. No, that's rough.
It's not like I had another camera rolling and I can use that audio. It's trash. Like, whatever.
I had the same thing happen to me back during turkey season. Man, I had been trying to get on a turkey. We had a hunting club right here up the road where we had a ton of turkeys, but just super hard to hunt.
Yeah.
And man, we finally got one called in, and here he come right around the corner, and I'd smoke him. Originally, my brother-in-law had went with me, and we called one up perfect 25 yards, and somehow this dude ends up getting away from us, getting behind a bush, and then taking off, and it didn't work out. So then we go back and have this other one come in, and sure enough, lay down all the footage, kill the turkey, and man, super excited. Get back. For some reason, the microphone, it was a wireless lav mic, just from the time we sat down at the tree for the next 10 minutes that the turkey come in and we killed it, no audio.
Oh my goodness.
No audio.
What brand do you want to brand shame? Do you want to tell them?
Well, I don't know that this was brand's fault. I think it was just my dad was actually filming with me, and so he was like, well, man, I had never used those mics before, so I didn't know. But it was the Rode mic Go 2, I believe it is.
Squares.
So it's like the little squares, yeah. And I like the mic. They're not bad. I think it was just he had never messed with them, and so it was kind of one of them things. But sure enough, that was just the story of that hunt. We were pumped up, excited, no audio.
And see, what sucks is like that may have been the best hunt of your year right there.
Right.
And you can't duplicate that.
Nope.
It's not going to happen.
Nope.
Like, I'll have one good duck hunt this year. I know that sounds sad. Like, when you're like, I hope my wife doesn't hear that, because she's gonna be like, you spent how much on a bow and you think you're gonna have one hunt? Like, 100%. But like, it's the truth.
Yep.
You're gonna have a few days and you'll remember those days forever, and they'll be worth it. Like, don't get me wrong. Whether I film or not, I'm not saying you got to film hunt for it to be successful, but it is dang nice.
Yeah.
To film it if you're really flying, because you got to charge up all the dang batteries. You got to bring it out there. It can't be raining. All this stuff's got to go perfect. And that's literally the last line of defense for something to go wrong is the microphone.
Yep.
It's
definitely one of those things where unless you've tried to do it, unless you've tried to film, you don't understand how hard it is, how 100%. Difficult it is, and how much goes into it. It's not just throwing a camera in the bag and taking off. No. And even you can do that and still not get it. You can do everything right and it still not work out. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough.
I agree. And like, so anytime I'm on YouTube and I see, 12-point public land self-film.
Yep.
See like success on public and it's self-film. I'm like, what is this dude on?
Yeah, he checked all the boxes.
Oh, dude, what is he doing? Like, what drugs I need to do? Oh, you know what? Here we go. Sorry, Mom, got to do it. It's way harder. And, obviously guys like you make it easier on average Joes like me. You've had some great experience, and I feel like you're building off of it, man. It's pretty awesome. It's awesome to hear somebody that's done it, been successful, been around successful people, and then giving back. Because I honestly can't think of another guy like that's doing it like you.
Yeah.
Who are people that you're kind of watching and emulating?
Well, I go back to just those guys that I watched when I first started. Yeah. One of the biggest guys was like Peter McKinnon, when I was watching all of his stuff. And he's like, that dude's phenomenal, crazy good, crazy talented. And so that was kind of who I was watching. at that point. And so just trying to kind of, and that's one of my things too, is like, I want to be able to, I don't want to be like this last video is me just sitting down here in my office,
Right.
you know, and like, that's great. But I also want to be able to go out into the woods. I want to be able to film my hunts and post it for people to enjoy. And I think that's where, kind of like we talked about a while ago, I want to bring value to people and teaching them how to film and teaching them the things that I know. I'm not trying to hold anything back from everybody. I'm trying to start at the base and give everybody all the knowledge that I've learned, ultimately to where people do enjoy my content and feel like they have a relationship with me. I do. I want everybody to comment. I want everybody to message me.
Yeah.
Therefore, I do have that whenever I get ready to post my hunts.
Yeah.
You know, it's that people do feel connected to me where they can watch my hunts. So if I haven't seen a deer in 3 days, you know, they're still watching because they care, because I'm putting in time to help them. Therefore, they're wanting to watch my content. If that makes
100%.
sense.
I felt that. I felt after watching the first thing. I'm not even sure why. You know, we obviously follow a lot of people on Kepler Creek. I'm not sure what brought me to your profile. It may have been Martin saying, I think that's what it was actually. When he gave you the shout out, he was like, Hunter behind the camera, we're doing our own thing. I was like, oh, let me give this dude a follow and see what he's doing. And you seem like just a genuine good dude. I've enjoyed the heck out of this conversation. But I mean, I think you're doing it right. I think you're 100% right, is that when people are invested in you, they're invested in your whatever you're doing and whatnot, and they feel like you are genuine.
Right.
You know, look, I mean, this is a very wild comparison, but Mr. Beast, like, you know, like somebody, I just compared you to Mr. Beast.
If I have the success of Mr. Beast, I'm telling you, I'm going to make it.
Remember me in the shed with the little window unit that's barely blown over.
I got you.
All right.
I got you.
Yeah. Give me all I want's a bigger window unit.
Yeah. Well, I think we can handle that.
Yeah. Appreciate you, man. You know, and I know that's a wild assumption, but that's somebody maybe everyone knows about. That's what he did, is that he started real small and he kind of gave back to his people. Now, granted, you may not be able to give back monetarily right now.
Right.
Like my air conditioning that's coming. Shoot you my address after this.
Yeah.
But you are able to give back, you know, with your knowledge.
Right.
And your content and whatnot.
Yeah.
So I think that's pretty awesome.
It's one of those things too, where it's like I've had, you know, and like right now, if you go look at my channel, I mean, I think I have like 70 subscribers at this point, you know, 3 videos in.
Yeah.
So nothing crazy. It hasn't like blown up and everybody's like, oh, this is the best, you know, content in the world. But I have had 3 or 4 guys that have messaged me like, dude, appreciate what you're doing. I've learned something every video. Yeah. And that's what matters. It means a lot. It really does.
It's only going to be a matter of time. I mean, like when you watch something, you can kind of just see like you got an knack for it. It's going to be successful. Since I've subscribed, I think you went from, you know, just a few or whatever it was to now 70 in a week. And like guys like me, I can understand that. I really appreciate that, because we don't have very many either, obviously. But I'm going to keep doing stuff like this, hoping that people are like, hey, that guy, I enjoyed that. He's pretty average. He's like me. Rather than listening to, you know, Cameron Haynes, like get out and shoot at 80 yards. I can just, this dude, he didn't even get to shoot today because, you know, his baby's crying all the time. Yeah. You know, or something like that.
Even if I did get to shoot every day, I couldn't shoot 80 yards.
No, I can't. Dude, I'm getting a new bow from Simmons.
Yeah.
Simmons Sporting Goods.
Yeah. I'm 5 minutes down the road. So.
Oh, dude, I'm driving from south of Shreveport. I live in Stonewall, Louisiana. Yeah. I'm driving past Bossier City and past known bow shops there.
Yep.
I'm going all the way to Simmons to buy the new Bear Adapt. I've got it ordered. The THP Hunting Public just put out. Yeah. So I'm doing a video there actually.
Awesome.
Hopefully, fingers crossed, they're cool with it. Them paper tuning it and all that good stuff. But
yeah, there's some great guys up there. They'll treat you right.
Yeah, I'm fired up about that. But Hunter, man, I've had you on. I told you like 30 minutes, but I've enjoyed the heck out of this. We're gonna have to do it.
Me too, man. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure, do it again, because I feel like you have got all kinds of knowledge that I need, honestly, and just selfishly need to pick your brain about some things.
Yeah, I love it.
But so everybody go follow Hunter Johnson. Can you plug your socials for me real quick?
Yeah, my Instagram, I believe, is like HunterJ_10. And then, you know, just on YouTube there at Hunter Johnson. So those will be good.
Yep. Go follow him. Make sure you go like. Subscribe, do all that. While you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe to us. No big deal.
Absolutely, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Great interview with Hunter. Enjoyed the heck out of that. He's going to be back on, hopefully. I learned a lot from just anything he posts, even on his Instagram posts and whatnot. If you're an outdoor content creator or even thinking about it, I would check Hunter out and use his tips and then see what we've done wrong and then be better than us. So there you go. Guys, if you enjoyed the episode today, please don't forget to subscribe to YouTube, follow us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, however you listen to podcasts, and then go check out the Instagram. We appreciate all the support and all the listens. We've grown every single week, and I just think it's because of awesome friends and family, honestly. And then we've got some just genuine fans in between, and we appreciate every one of you. I hope you guys have a great week. Go to church.